Guys, welcome to Do You Bleed, the show where we're going to discuss if and how Batman could incapacitate the following heroes. Up today is the Avengers in honor of Infinity War, and to be honest, we just want to talk about this anyways. We don't even really need an excuse.
Nerd!
I've got an awesome panel with me today. Roxy Striar, our resident DC EU apologist.
Do you bleed?
Ed Greer, host of the Nerd Goat podcast.
Hey guys.
You know him, you love him. And Alana Jordan from AfterBuzz, from Popcorn, from cosplay.
Yeah, lots of things.
Yeah, and lover of DC in general. Especially
And Batman.
The Man in Black. Batman. So we're going to just go through the Avengers one by one, and we're going to pitch whether and how Batman would take them down. Simple enough? First, we need to set some ground rules. So all of these fights take place in a neutral city, a neutral urban environment, which we've collectively decided is Vancouver.
Yep.
Okay? No one has any home base advantage. This is not Gotham. This is not whatever Avengers City. I guess that's New York, right?
Avengers City. That's what I call New York.
Secondly, both sides have been given 24 hours to prepare for this. So they're not going in like, with a year's worth of work, but they're not going in fully unprepared. Agreed?
Yeah. Did they just get a phone call, or did one call the other? How do they know they have 24 hours?
Alfred was like, I saw the Avengers and it is about to go down. Get ready, Batman. You have 24 hours.
Exactly.
I will make tea. Go.
Yeah, it was. I think it was a jib jab email.
Isn't that one of those Facebook threads where it's like, I am opting out of this conversation. You can just leave.
Billy's like, God damn it, Roxy, stop asking questions. Let him get to the other rules, okay?
Oh, those are the only rules. The only rules are those two rules. So let's dive right in with number one, Batman versus Hawkeye. How's he taking him down, Roxy Striar?
Well, he definitely is.
Yeah.
So if the question is or isn't he, he is. And I don't think too difficultly? With much difficulty?
Much difficult.
There you go.
I don't
There
think
you
with
go.
much difficulty. Because I feel like he could just, he didn't need the 24 hours notice on this one. Hawkeye, would just outsmart. It's not too hard for this one, I feel.
Yeah, I think you just catch him slipping at the Arrow convention or something. He's looking
Yeah.
at some new compound bows, like, yeah, this is pretty, and then he's broke off.
Vancouver, noted for its arrow convention. Annual. And they do shoot a lot of movies there, so it's possible that the next all Avengers movies will be set in Vancouver.
Yeah.
And we pitched it here first.
Yeah.
Ooh. Elena, what do you
Move out
got?
of New York. Move out of Avengers City. He would crush Hawkeye immediately. He's just batarang. He doesn't even have to try. He's looking at another Avenger where he's like, boom, Hawkeye out.
Yeah, I really don't think that this is much of a contest. I feel like Clint Barton usually pulls that I'm just a regular guy with a bow talk that's supposed to hype up who he's talking to, but Bruce Wayne would be like, I'm just a regular guy and I'm Batman, and Clint Barton would die of shame.
Yeah, and he's gonna try to talk too much, and Batman's just gonna be done.
No.
It's
It's going to be like the scene in Indiana Jones with the sword fight. And he's just like, pfft.
Shoots him because he had diarrhea. That's a true story.
Yeah.
That's why they ended up having to do that. So
I was just
maybe-
hoping that you would say diarrhea at some point today, and I feel like
It
now.
came so early. We still have the whole rest of the show.
Isn't that always the case with
Let's see
diarrhea?
if we can
Let's
work
go.
diarrhea into the future fights for bonus points.
Well, what if Hawkeye hit Batman with a diarrhea arrow?
Then Batman would be like, you've already lost because you spent time making a diarrhea arrow.
Chipotle arrow, yeah.
Yeah, Chipotle arrow.
I have so many clarification questions. Does the arrow turn into diarrhea as it hits you?
No, it gives you diarrhea. Although that would be tough too. That would be like a biological weapon.
Open faces.
Yeah, he does have an open face in the cowl. Also good, but I think we're all in agreement. It's Batman
Yep.
by knockout.
Totally.
Yeah. So these are not in order of strength. So let's just crank it right up to Scarlet Witch. Batman v Scarlet Witch.
Oh,
How's this going down, Roxy?
Batman has a really hard time beating Scarlet Witch because it's still quite unclear what the extent of her powers are.
Right.
She just can and then you're up in the air and also dead. So
Technical term.
I think, I think if she gets in Batman's head a little bit and uses her, because Batman is also an eligible bachelor, and if he's like, oh girl, you cute, which does sound like Batman, and she's like, then he dead.
And Selena Kyle's just like, I guess I'm not here anymore. Cool.
1000%.
Spoken like a real Batman fan. And what do you got?
I mean, honestly, I think if I was going to be the "well, actually" guy on this, I feel like he could take her out better than some of the more powerful Avengers, just because she has inexperience, which is very well noted, and the cause of a whole plot line is her inexperience and her inability to do two things at once. Even with her infinite power, she can't do two things at once. Poison gas, defend my head from a batarang. Okay, I'm gonna do that.
But what if he catches her on a good day?
Like when she's got her hair popping, her lip gloss is popping.
No, like when
is that a
She'll
good
look
day?
real cute while she gets defeated, Roxy.
No, when she's real focused. Like when she actually hones in, her power is cray.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Batman has bolos. So he could just be like, oh, you're going to use your little fancy hand thing. Boom, your hands are boloed.
Oh, if she
And
can't
she's
do,
like,
we've never seen her
"Ooh."
cinematically use her powers without the
she needs
rave
to-
1990s hand dancing.
What if she uses her elbows instead?
Well, that's
the
going to...
spells are all
Yeah,
weird?
then, yeah.
I think the spells would
But I
work
think
as
this looks
good
cool.
as if you were trying to do stuff with your elbows. So like the spells would be kind of off.
Yeah, it'd be like if you were trying to make coffee. You make a great cup of coffee, but then you have to use your elbows.
I think 9 out
Not
of 10.
as good. Not
Nine
as
out of
good.
10
Coffee.
times Batman wins,
Perfect
but that
analogy.
1 out of 10 time that she shows up, she shows up.
Yeah, that's fair. I do think Batman can take this with 2 words: fear toxin. Because if he gets her afraid, what is she afraid of? Losing control of her powers. She's just not even going to play.
That's legit.
Yeah.
Shut down.
Somebody actually thought of these.
That's even better than bolos.
When you're super duper rich, so you have all of the things. Batman.
Batman.
Well, we're ramping it up. Speaking of rich guys, now it's him against Black Panther. Batman v. Black Panther. The Men in Black. Who's coming out on top?
It's just solo, right? Like Black Panther doesn't get to just be like, all of Wakanda come play for me.
Your assy
no,
and Fedora and Madre are going
no,
to
this
come
is-
in and be like, badass ladies, we're also
Yeah.
fighting Batman.
Yeah.
This is a one-on-one, although I suppose in the 24 hours ahead of time they can, like, chat. You know, they can get advice, they can do some research and stuff like that. But when it comes time to fight, Batman versus Black Panther. Ed, what do you think?
What do I have to go first?
Because I went
Because she already went.
I went first twice in a row and you guys ripped me to shreds.
I think Elena should take this one first.
All right, Elena.
I mean, Batman's always going to win. Given. I'm sorry. I'm always team I love Black Panther, but Batman's going to win. Here's the deal. This is why. Because even though the suit is... Black Panther's suit is very, very high tech, it still, as we have determined, is affected by different magnetic devices, which is why Shuri has to add on the carts when they're moving the vibranium. Vibranium is affected like a regular metal. So, EMP gun, boom, electromagnetic pulse, your suit, zzz.
But how
Sorry,
does-
Black Panther, go
how-
back to Wakanda.
How does Batman
wins.
know that? How is Batman going to know that right now? I feel
'Cause
like
he's
Black Panther,
Batman.
but Black Panther has a little bit of the edge right now. He only has 24 hours notice, and Black Panther is not on the scene as much. Like, he definitely knows about Tony. He definitely knows what his powers are. But when it comes to Black Panther, I feel like he wouldn't quite be aware what makes him tick, how it works. So if he shows up with his regular tricks, then maybe he can't take him down.
So you're saying Black Panther shows up and the claws are coming out?
That is
Well, I do think that
yeah.
if anybody has penetrated the veil of secrets around Wakanda, it's the shadowy Wayne Enterprises organization. They've got shipping and international dealings and science and tech
if
divisions
Claw
and stuff.
can get inside Wakanda, I think somebody from Wayne Enterprises or something could get inside there and learn some of the things.
Batman is a ninja.
I
He
think
has
Batman
ninja
wins
spies.
too, but we're not giving Black Panther enough credit here. That Black
no,
Panther has
yeah.
tricks up his sleeve, and if he has 24 hours to prepare, he can pretty much create any device he wants with his sis.
Specify, yeah, I was going to say Shuri can create any device, but
Benny G just
yes.
told me
Yeah, well,
that
you
he
only
can
have a
talk to
day.
Shuri.
So I think that really, if it comes to the fight, Batman might have already lost. But I do think that Bruce Wayne in 24 hours could create like a Wakandan economic crisis or something, like hire a mole to like irradiate the vibranium supply or something like that, and kind of Fort Knox it like Goldfinger.
Use his loyalty against him, or
Yeah.
he's like, my loyalty is to Wakanda,
His loyalty is
so
to
I'm done
Wakanda.
with this fight.
But also, if
makes sense.
we're doing the movie versions of the characters, that does include the one in Batman v Superman. And the Batman and Batman v Superman was pretty hardcore. and as far as fighting dudes. And it seemed as though he only got stabbed because they needed some drama in that scene. You know what I mean? It seems like he was whooping their ass pretty good, and then he gets stabbed out of nowhere. He's like, I guess I can be defeated, but I won't. Yeah. And he starts karate chopping. But I believe that, like, I think he could find a way to do the magnetic / sonic whatever disruption of the stuff. But then that would just leave him with a dude who could, like, bench press 1,500 pounds and is way faster than him, and he would just get his ass kicked. But Bruce Wayne would do the double whammy. I make a hole in your suit, and then I shoot some toxin in there, and the toxin isn't some regular shit. It's the stuff that strips the strength of the Black Panther.
Oh, you get that juice.
So the movie version of Black Panther got beat up by M'Baku and the shit kicked out of him by Killmonger. I believe that both of those dudes cannot quite fight as well as Batman in Batman v Superman. So I would take that guy against a stripped of the strength of the Black Panther. I would take him in a one-on-one with the suit messed up and with the strength down. I think that's how he gets him if he does.
I think he could just roll some string out and distract him.
You think about that.
He's not a real cat.
Batman has the experience with Catwoman.
So you like cats?
Like anytime, just boom.
If they're at the edge of the water, guys, they're standing there, and Batman's like, I'm about to become the next you, and you must die for me to do that. Batman's not going to be willing to kill him. That's Batman's MO, depending on which version we're talking about, but he's not going to do it. And Black Panther is going to be willing to kill Batman unless Batman begs for his life, which Batman will not do because he's too proud.
Well, mind you, we're only fighting to incapacitation, so like we're just going to do Pokemon rules, like Black Panther fainted. Like that's the fight.
He fainted.
Okay, we'll give it to Batman.
All right,
Black
so
Panther took a cat nap.
Under those specific things, like I said, if indeed he just messed his suit up, Batman still gets his butt kicked because he's just the dude's way stronger than him with the strength of the Black Panther. But if he can strip that, I've seen dudes who are whacker than Batman beat up Black Panther.
Yeah.
You know what I want to see is actually just the drag race with the Batmobile and that badass Shuri-controlled car.
Yeah.
That's the real fight I want to see. I
Batman
don't even care about the people in the driver's seat.
I didn't mention this earlier, but Batman probably can bring his vehicles into play because those are all remote controlled.
Yeah.
And he can probably talk to Alfred. So we're expanding the rules a little bit.
Okay.
But he's not going to need him for this next fight. Black Widow. Batman versus Black Widow. Ed, what do you got?
Okay.
He's happy to go first on this one.
I'm trying to find a way that she can compete with Batman right now. And
What's she even going to do?
I think it had to be some subterfuge. She's like, Batman wakes up at like, what, 4 o'clock in the afternoon? That's when he wakes up. You know, he's like washing his bruises in the shower and stuff. And then a beautiful lady comes in. It's like, oh, hey, Bruce, let me wash your back. Like, oh, Selena, how you doing? And then she rips off that holographic thing and like karate chops him. That's the only way I think that she could win.
This is such a game over. Yeah. And it's not that I don't like her, because I do, but just like, she needs a team. She needs a team, and without it,
and if we're going by the movies, she needs a uterus. That's her weakness.
oh,
Hey, I didn't write that character that way. Joss Whedon did. Well, it's okay. So it seems like that's a pretty clear knockout.
Yeah, she just gets KO'd immediately.
the 1-2 punch. He didn't even prepare for that. He
He's
tricks
like,
her.
hey, big fella, out.
So we're working our way through, let's just say, the lower tiered Avengers. No offense, but here comes Falcon. He's a fellow bird. Alana.
He's a fellow bird.
I mean, I feel like he just kind of takes the wings off and then it's over, right?
Yeah, I'm like, Falcon, that's another one that you just EMP. It's boom. Your suit is immediately jammed up. You fall to the earth. You're done.
Yeah, it's not going to take much. Also, he could take it to the sewers of Vancouver, where the bird suit would
Oh yeah,
really
where
help.
it's like nothing. Where he's just like, my wings keep getting caught on all the things down here. There's rats everywhere. I hate this. I quit. I'm going upstairs.
Safe because he's in the air, so he's not safe. Like, there's nothing he can do. What is it? He's just gonna be down in a second. Batman's gonna be like, boom, down.
Yeah.
Bird down.
Well, I mean,
down.
I think you'd have to use something more complicated than just a batarang or something, though, because honestly, I got to give it to the Falcon a little bit. In Captain America, they really put his ass over with how good he could fly that. Computerized computerized aiming systems were aiming all their guns. All the guns on a giant shield helicarrier were all shooting at Falcon at the same time. And he flew through them all together. So to say that Bruce Wayne's just going to whip out a batarang and hit him in the head while he's flying 1,000 feet up or something is weird. It would have to be an EMP or something like that, is what I'm saying.
That's fair, but what about taking the fight indoors or underground?
Well, why would Falcon go indoors? He goes like, okay.
Why would Batman go outdoors?
I'll float around outdoors and I'd be
Fight me down here. I'm in this sewer. Fight me down here.
It's like, oh, okay, I'll Rochambeau you for it.
Bring a pizza. We'll hang out with the Ninja Turtles.
He can't even take on Ant-Man. Like,
I reject that though because they used him to put him over. I don't want to do the wrestling terms on here, but they definitely used Falcon to put over Ant-Man. That was a big put over.
You think that he'll have any shot with Batman? Seriously?
No.
I know you're 1,000 feet up and you're shooting at somebody on the ground. I mean, as much as Batman likes to glide.
Like the infamous Batman versus Falcon debate that everyone has always had because the two are so evenly matched.
If they met on the ground in any way, shape, or form, he would get broke off like Nikolai Volkov. I have no doubts about that. But if a lot of fights, I just reject. If I'm up in the sky, if high ground is a big deal. Star Wars fans know this. High ground is a big deal. So if I'm shooting at you and you're on the ground, I don't care how much kung fu you know. Do some sky fu. Now
do some sky fu.
If there was a time limit on the fight, maybe, but like Batman will just wait him out.
Yeah.
I'm also allowing vehicles, so call in the Batwing.
Yeah, 100%. Batman instantly. It just
with a plane.
One scene. It's just him going, "No Falcon way," and then just out, and then they move on to the next Avenger.
Nice.
He doesn't even get a whole scene.
Will Wonder Woman lend him the invisible jet? Because then he just is winning all of the stuff.
He doesn't even need it. Let's add in here. Let's just roll right into.
Falcon runs into the jet and he's like, "Ow! What? There are walls here."
I thought he was just flying.
Just hanging out.
I thought he was just flying up to a sitting lady in the sky.
I hope they bring that in the movies. Let's do Batman vs. Ant-Man. That's a tricky one, right? Two of the most brutal animals in the animal kingdom, the bat and the ant, finally facing off.
I mean, Ant-Man just is not even that great at being Ant-Man yet. Like, Ant-Man can't hang. Ant-Man makes stupid decisions left and right, and Ant-Man is still working on having control over his powers while he's running into doors and stuff. Batman smushes him. Yeah. As he's a little thing, Batman literally smushes him. Bye.
I don't think he would smush him. I think he would put a glass over him and then just look at him. Some sort of EMP glass that he can't get bigger out of. And just hi, little man.
He could entice him into the Batcave and then trap him there, because he can't resist a good heist.
What's he gonna do? A big trail of sugar or picnic items? What are you talking about?
Oh, if he would kill actual ants to just make him make him furious.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of
That
ways.
was my favorite one.
That.
It had wings. Yeah.
I feel like Wasp actually would be more of a challenge than Ant-Man for the same reason.
100%.
It's she actually has a handle on this, whereas Ant-Man is this is cool, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's skip to the big guns then. How in the world does Batman defeat Vision? Alana, how's that going down?
Batman versus Vision is more difficult, but it's that's another one where it's EMP.
What? No. He's got an Infinity Stone. That's not going to work.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, the EMP
Here's the deal, though. No, because you can also distract. We're forgetting about all of the distraction tactics. He has his sonar gun, so he can have thousands of bats come fly in.
I feel like Vision can melt those with his eyes. I'm not seeing how he does this one.
A lot of them, to the point, thousands and thousands from all over the place where you don't know where you're going.
Peck them to death.
There's a lack of motivation on Vision's end. If Vision he's not going to use the Infinity Stone to take down Batman.
No.
He's like, that's a waste of my time. No shoe fly, don't bother me.
Well, for the purposes of this exercise, he's got a grudge. He's got a score to settle with Batman. They do have to fight each other.
If he really did, I feel like he could play some intense psychological warfare on Batman, but he would have to know him super duper well. He's just kind of too good of a dude.
Well, for me, I think that if we're using movie vision, he's not an alien. He's like a AI, right? He's like a
Yes.
computer with an Infinity Stone. So
that's what I was
ignore
thinking, the
ignore the
EMP.
stone, but go to the computer side and like hack into his brain and put like a paradox in there where Vision's is like, oh, I'm just like frozen thinking about this thing, and then you pluck out the stone. But you gotta
I feel
freeze
like
him
a
for a
stone
while.
takes a little more than a plucking. Like I don't think you
I
could
mean, if
just
you're
like
able to fry the suit,
pluck.
though, yeah, there's like he has multiple things to disengage computers. So yeah, I feel like he could incapacitate him, and then with all of the bats that are melting around him, he can then
Covered in
grab
melting
the
bats.
stone.
Bat
Yeah.
swarm technique
Just
is
just
hilarious.
get some of that melted bat off the stone, pocket
Yeah.
that stone, and then
You could also probably lure him into putting on like a trapped, booby-trapped sweater vest. If you just laid that out in the streets, he'd out of curiosity, he'd put it on.
You know, he could trick Vision into trying to cook an authentic Sokovian meal, and when he fails, just the psychological damage of him not. I didn't put enough paprika in it. You know? And he just takes him out. He's just like, he just shuts down.
that's what takes him out is
Yeah.
the paprika.
Yep.
People really underestimate it in
Yep.
fights.
So I mean, these have all been. You guys have all been
Season
saying
these fights.
these have all been wins so far, but are you really saying Batman would beat Vision in a fight? Yes or no, Roxy?
Yeah.
Okay, Ed.
I say no unless a very specific set of things. Basically, what he would do is trick.
He said yes or no, Ed.
He would have to
No,
trick the Vision
but-
into being solid, and during that time while he is solid, find some way to attach something to where he can remote control using the Tony Stark files he downloaded 23 hours earlier and studied. The files that make up the Vision's personality and operating system. He learns that expertly,
No.
puts something on him and hacks him or something. That's one thing. But if the Vision has the choice to stay immaterial, I just don't know how that works.
He's a
I still don't
detective.
know.
He finds his own Infinity Stone, and now they both have Infinity Stones, and he implants it in his head.
So Sam Spade just
Boom.
finds the
They just
Infinity
have
Stone.
Infinity Stones. Like they're just like it's an
Yup.
Infinity Stone party.
And it's inside the Maltese
Don't
Falcon.
forget the paprika.
Maltese Falcon.
There's an Infinity Stone in the Maltese Falcon. That's why everybody wants it so
It
bad.
is an Infinity
Yeah.
Stone. So yes or no, Elena? Got to put you on the spot because these are getting tough now. Batman's
This
won
is-
everything till now.
I still think Batman could win, but I think this would be a lot more of a challenge. I think this would, whereas everyone up to this point, I feel like it's a one utility belt mission. This is like all 10 pouches. Like
Okay.
we're going with everything.
All 10 pouches. So all right, yeah.
Thousands of melted bats.
don't think he's
Rob
coming out
Liefeld
alive.
and Jim Lee would have to do a jam piece on this for how many pouches he's going to need to beat all these
That's a lot of
people.
pouches, Ed. That's too many pouches.
Too many pouches.
All right.
Too many
So these are only getting harder from here on out. I don't see how Batman makes it out of this one. Batman versus Thor.
Sands or Cone Hammer?
I think that's a great question, Roxy.
Thank you so much, Spenny G.
I think he's got the hammer, because that's what you think of when you think Thor. It's like so much part of his identity. I know he just lost in Ragnarok, but come on, he's got the hammer.
See, here's the thing, though, because they don't do this in the movies, but in the comics, if Thor doesn't have his hammer, if he throws it and then is disconnected from it for more than 60 seconds, he loses the power and he becomes mortal for that amount of time, which they kind of touch on, but not really. But I feel like at this point, he doesn't have the hammer. He's, literally missing an eye, so Batman could just sneak up and be like, "What up, bro?"
Oh, yeah, he's got blindside.
Yeah, that always works when he fights
Literally
Deathstroke.
blindside
But then
Thor.
once he blindsides him, what's he gonna do?
Right, he is a god.
It would,
Yeah.
that's the thing, is it would have to be
Like
some
tell a
sort
joke?
of.
Like I blindsided you.
I think
Like,
you should
now
just be
what?
like, Loki's doing all this crazy shit, and you're the only one who can say it. Go elsewhere. Our fight's done. Fight your brother.
Well, that's the thing. I do think Thor smushes Batman pretty easily, but if he can just evade him and cause enough damage to downtown Vancouver, Thor he's prone to those like episodes of like, what have I done? Oh, I've lost control again.
Yes.
Oh no! And
Oh,
that guilt
Jen.
of destroying the beautiful jewel of Western Canada will make him just put down the hammer and kind of go into retirement.
And any bats that haven't been liquefied at this point can also be brought out to distract.
And it takes
Damn
You and your
bats.
distraction bats.
it takes an orphan to affect another orphan, maybe, and like he
yeah.
could just really hit. Either one could hit him where it hurts, but Batman is ruthless with this kind of thing, and I feel like Batman could just be like,
Like-
Batman would just be like, bro, what's it like to you just lost another pair.
And Thor's like, my mom's name is Martha.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
How old are you?
And they're like, no, we're friends. All of our moms' names are Martha.
I have a question.
down.
How old do you have to be before you're not an orphan anymore? It's like
I think
my
you're-
parents aren't
Right.
orphans because my grandparents are dead. Like,
Right,
There's gotta be
yeah.
a
I think
like
there's
a
no cutoff.
age where you age out of being an orphan.
I don't know. I feel
Thor
like
was like hundreds of years old by the time his parents
He's like
died.
1,500 years old. Yeah.
Yeah, I think his head died. Well, the thing, the only
His
way.
dad literally came back to be like, I'm leaving now. Like, it wasn't
Yeah,
like a traumatic
it was
thing,
assisted.
really.
It was Kevorkian, yeah.
It was just when his sister
Yo,
was like,
that
I'm a
mom
dick.
death was traumatic AF.
Well,
I don't know. I feel like Thor, just based on pure power, could kick the crap out of Batman, but Batman could be like, Thor gets affected super easily. He's an emotional dude, and if you're like twist that brain, he would have to use. There's no amount of power. There's no material. There's no thing that he has. No amount of money. He would have to get in here and then kick his booty.
he just shows up and he's
mean-
like, I brought Natalie Portman. And he's like, what? I forgot about her. And he's
Everybody did. The only way that Batman could beat Thor under any circumstances, frankly, because we don't even know that Thor is susceptible in the Marvel universe, the movies. We don't even know if he's susceptible to gas. He's never really been tracked. He's been
Yeah.
electrocuted with that super stuff out in the
Right.
Conqueror, and
Yeah.
all that stuff, the Collector rather. Those discs. That's the only thing that's ever truly incapacitated him in the MCU.
Interesting, but I'll bet Batman could get his hands on one of those.
Yeah, I don't know. That's far. That's 24 hours. I'm sorry. It takes more than 24 hours to get out there. So no, he couldn't get his
I
hands
don't
on one
know.
of those.
He's
24
got
hours.
lots of money. He's like Amazon
I don't
Prime
care how
on
much
lock.
money you
He's
have.
like,
You
it is
cannot travel
immediately-
50 light years.
What if he took out
Those
another
Amazon
eye?
drones are on it.
What kind of what kind of Southwest is he getting on? Or what Learjet is he getting to fly? Oh, anyway, the bottom line is the only way he wins is Thor's just too powerful. Period. But the way he wins, especially with the hammer, if he has the hammer, he doesn't have both eyes, so he doesn't have the Odin's son powers. That's just a fact. So if he has the hammer, he doesn't have Odin's son powers, which all that electricity jazz. So he's just sort of a big, strong guy who's kind of a jerk and a dummy who's kind of affected mentally, right? And he's arrogant
You're
as hell.
describing all
Just
my
out of
exes right
curiosity,
now.
why'd you point at me when you said dummy?
Oh, because you
pointed that out.
Yeah, you pointed that out. Oh God, projecting much.
Kind of a dummy.
But anyway, so basically, this arrogant god, this little dude in a bat suit, so cute, comes up trying to karate him and stuff. And he's like, "Oh, you little guy." So he takes his hammer and he just puts it on Batman's chest, and he just pins him to the ground with it and just laughs at him. But Batman can wield the hammer because he's definitely worthy. Batman's worthy. I'm sorry. Yeah, he is. If Captain America
That's
is,
a stretch.
I don't know.
Captain America. If Captain America is, Captain
America made it
killed
wobble.
a bunch of. I know, but in the comics he's
wobble,
wielded
wobble.
it.
Make it shake it,
In the
shake it.
comics he's wielded it, and I've seen the Hulk wield a version, an Uru version of. It's like a clone of Thor's hammer, and the Hulk wielded it.
But it's not the real hammer.
right, well,
Captain
anyway.
America's like a
isn't the
great
hammer.
dude who's done very solid things. Batman's done some shady.
Yeah.
Batman is
shady-ish.
just more damaged, and I
You
believe
think that he's
the-
worthy?
you
You are
bet
not
he is.
worthy, sir.
I bet he is, and I bet you he'd be worthy enough to grab it and smack him in the face with it, or do some weird stuff, and then he wins. That's the only way, honestly. Other
I
than
want
that,
to
he's
focus
a
on the
bloody
do
pulp.
some weird stuff part.
Yeah, he's just a bloody pulp.
I think
dude.
Thor wins. We're trying to make it so that Batman
Yeah.
wins, but I think
We're
Thor
really
wins.
bending
We're
ourselves over.
really having to
It
go
would
far.
have to be. There would have to be extenuating circumstances for Batman to beat a god because he's
Yeah.
still a man.
He did a 7 parsec head start or something so he could get out to get the collector thing.
Speaking
I mean,
of
no hammer, no eye. I feel like he's got a chance. Otherwise, nah.
Take
So
out his
speaking of big buff guys with mental problems, this is gonna be a tough one. He's going up against the Hulk. How?
Easy.
Oh, easy.
Easy before Banner even changes because Bruce has already had the time to study. He knows the amount of time that it takes the Hulk to go. As soon as he starts to morph, boom, in the neck with a dart out.
Are we saying going up against Bruce or the Hulk though? Because maybe he's already the Hulk.
Well, let's see. So the rules are Bruce Banner gets an Evite, fight with Batman.
A jib jab.
24 hours, and he does whatever you think he would do to prepare for that. I imagine he would transform beforehand.
Yeah, if he can, and if he does, then we're gonna have a really hard time But really what he is, though, is just strong. And so that is not the hardest thing for Batman to handle.
Especially because Batman has explosive foam, so he could just spray that all over the place.
Well, to
big
be
holes
fair,
in it, make him fall in.
To say that Batman is not susceptible to strength is kind of ridiculous because he did get his back broke by a luchador. So
I didn't say he's not susceptible. It's just not, I don't think
On
it's
steroids.
on steroids,
It's not
exactly.
his biggest weakness. Like, his biggest villains are people that psychologically mess with him, that play games, that are people that are, for lack of better words, jokers. Like, things like that. And I feel like this big dude, that doesn't scare Batman. That's not what freaks him out. So he'll have
I think Batman would be very unscared while he's getting smeared across a 4-block radius. I think he'd be
also
very
feel
brave
like-
during the death that he's going to
Really,
experience.
the only way is to get him to transform back into Bruce Banner.
Yes.
And
It's the only way.
that's
Which he can
possible
do.
because
Which
I
he could
think
do.
he could get a life model decoy of ScarJo and send her out there to do the night.
Or fear toxin, man. You fear toxin him, and he's all over the place. He's scared.
You don't
when
want him
he-
mad and scared.
Yeah, but when he's, I mean, we've already seen that one of his biggest weaknesses when he transforms is that it's difficult for him to control his emotions. So you throw fear in there, he's completely distracted from the fight. He's focusing on his own internal battles.
I kind of
Transfer,
I kind of reject him being susceptible to stuff like that though, because honestly, he tried to shoot himself in the head as Banner, and when the bullet went into his brain to kill him, the Hulk cell said, "No, thank you, sir," and just he transformed. So if you can't even kill yourself as Banner, this concept that like, especially with 24 hours of prep, I believe Banner goes, "Hey, Tony, throw me some of those. Throw me some of those Ritalin or whatever keeps you up. Throw me some Ritalin nanites that would, even if something went in my neck, I'd stay up." Or
I feel
or
like
it
fear
changes the
toxin
whole.
is the way to go, though, because he'll just freak himself out.
Batman has
I don't
to
even know if he's
drop
susceptible to that,
him-
though.
Batman has to drop Hulk from a very high surface because every time Hulk seems to fall on the ground, he turns back into Bruce, like and naked and stuff.
In the movies,
That's pretty good.
Yeah, so you
Yes.
have to
True.
get him up and drop him down.
I mean, the Hulkbuster fought him to a standstill. I think Batman could whip something up in 24
Yeah.
hours like
Basically,
that.
after he has fought Falcon, he's like, "Give me them wings."
It rips the wings from Falcon's back.
Falcon's back.
And takes Hulk for a ride. Yeah. All right. So that's not as hard as I thought. I think that Thor's probably a tougher challenge.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So here's just a different style of fight, but it's Batman versus Captain America. I mean, this is a really tough emotional one for me.
Yeah, I
for
feel you
whose
on that.
worldview comes out on top. Does anyone have any strong takes on winning or losing for this guy?
Well, this is kind of like Batman v Superman, but Cap is not as strong as Superman. So I think Batman wins this one.
Yeah.
Especially, like, which bright and shiny Cap? Like, what decade are we talking about with Cap?
We're talking movie Cap, and I think the problem though is that what you mentioned last time is like strength isn't what messes with him; it's mental, and
Yeah.
I don't think that there's any weaknesses in Captain America's mentality. He's incorruptible. You can't like.
Other than Bucky, just like he holds Bucky over something like, "I'm gonna drop your buddy." I was like, "No,
Don't do it!
Even
Don't do
just
it,
like a
Batman!
photo of
to the
him.
end of the line." You know what I mean?
I just want to see a Batman with like the Mr. Freeze gun that he took, and then just like, "What up, Winter Soldier? Still cold? What about now? What about now?"
Logistically, though,
Batman's the Punisher.
logistically, what is Captain America gonna do to Batman?
Punch him
And
kick him
and keep
and
doing-
throw a shield at him.
I mean, honestly, we were talking about 24 hours of prep time. This is the thing. If Batman and Captain America have a fight on a rooftop even, I think it's a 50-50 shot, maybe even leaning towards Batman since Batman has so much extra jazz. But if we're talking about a Captain America who's smart enough, who seems to be pretty smart in the movies as far as setting traps for people, I really feel like Captain America versus Batman in an elevator is death. I'm sorry, Batman, I don't care how good you are at stuff. I have a shield made out of invincible stuff. There's 2 feet between me and you. I'm smashing you over and over and you're dead.
Batman is not
period.
getting in an elevator.
Yeah, why are they
Captain
fighting in an
America.
elevator? What a weird
I
place
think he
to
can
fight.
trick him into getting into an elevator.
He's like, "Get in the elevator. We're going down to the sewer so I can yell at Falcon."
What you just said would be the equivalent of being like, if Batman got Captain America to enter into a trivia competition, definitely Batman.
Pop culture trivia.
Any enclosed
It's like,
space.
"What? You gonna sleep for the past 40 years. Jeez.
Batman's driving his goofy ass Batmobile, and a big impact comes on, and the top gets ripped off, which it gets ripped off every day by people weaker than Captain America. The top gets ripped off all the time, ripped off, and then I'm smashing you with my shield, and you're sitting in your cockpit. You're sitting like this.
Why is he sitting like
look
this?
At all, this is how he drives his car.
He eject? He has no, he can eject out of that
He's driving down the street, rolling down the street, kicking it with Robin, whatever. And then a big giant dude slams on your hood or even smashes your hood down into you and you're dead anyway.
Well, then Batman's going, oh, you dick, I just got this detailed. Now I'm angry. I'm going to fight you.
I'm going to send a bunch of bats at you.
Dream. I'm going to send whatever non-liquefied bats are left.
You have the most specific situations. Like, Batman wins this one 9 out of 10 times.
I think in general he does, especially because the one mental weakness for me for Captain America is he's not a rule breaker, or at least not the rules that he thinks are just. So if Batman can get to the Vancouver City Council and get them to pass a law, or really just print out flyers about the law against fighting in the streets.
Oh, dude, yeah,
And
a
also,
big sign,
it's
no
Vancouver.
frisbee allowed here. No frisbee allowed here. Then Captain America's like, damn!
Oh,
Captain
raspberries.
Canada shows up and is like, what about me? Can I try?
But I think it's
No
more
home
even.
field advantage for you, Cap.
We're all taking Batman, but I think that one's more even than it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, any situation where it's like, and I also think that Batman, his arrogance could come into a little bit of play too. I've seen Batman go, oh, what's up? Let's have a fight. He fought the mutant leader 50 years in the future with more wisdom than this Batman right now in the comic canon. I understand that. But he goes, oh, I see you're real strong. Let's have a fist fight. And if he did that to Captain America, he would get broke off like a Chico stick in my pocket. Okay? He would get broke off. But if he plays it smart and stays hella far away from the dude who can lift 1,500 pounds and throw cars, yes,
With
obviously he'd
24
win.
hours notice, he would know that though. He straight up show
Captain
up.
America
He's
has
like,
24 hours notice too. We're giving Batman so much
technically.
props
Benny
for
G,
how he
don't
was
let
Captain
Captain
prepared.
America
this. No.
is getting
He
lit up
loses.
like
He
the 4th of
loses.
July, buddy.
I think it's closer than it looks, but yeah, he loses. Let's go on to someone who's got a little bit of everything going for him. Spider-Man. Batman v. Spider-Man.
He's just a kid, man. Like, what are you gonna do? Gonna beat his butt?
I do think he could send him women of the evening before the night before.
He wouldn't even need any of his actual tricks. Alfred's like, so what should we put in the utility belt for Spider-Man? He's like, call up Sheila.
Just send a redhead over.
If you are disqualified, if you don't show up, Batman's gonna make sure that Spider-Man does not show up.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
He's going to get an extra history test.
Batman schedules an extra. He hacks the computer system at the school, sends him an extra pop quiz.
Yeah.
yeah.
He's too much of a goody two-shoes. He's a kid.
Yeah.
You're right.
It does come on. If they did actually fight, like, just knowing how to use your suit more, Batman's gonna win. Spidey just still doesn't even know how anything works. It's
Spidey
like,
wouldn't
whoa,
even beat
whoa.
Robin. Like, it's not gonna happen, man.
No, hot take. Jesus. Fucking Johnny Storm
Two
take
kids.
over here.
Two kids fight each other. Grown ass man, like, what up, little boy? We're gonna fight? Okay, well, he's out.
Yeah, I don't know. Winter Soldier fights people who are Winter Soldier's very, very strong. Strong enough to, like, push people like Captain America back with his arm and stuff. And Spider-Man was like, this is funny. So I really think that Spider-Man has a puncher's chance because he wouldn't, with 24 hours and a universal crossover, he wouldn't have time to respect the great legend of the Bat. He would see a little dude with his little bat suit on his belt and real cute, and he'd go, I can throw cars. I'm going to throw a car and land it on this guy.
Whoa, 1,000% he's obsessed with Batman. 1,000%.
If they're from different universes, how can he be obsessed with him?
The
He's
second
got a
he
universal
sees him,
TV?
second he sees him, he's gonna know that's exactly like the Tony of my universe. Holy crap! And he's gonna start calling him Mr. Wayne, and they're gonna like fall in love, and 100% he's screwed.
It's gonna be like the 50 Shades of Grey version though of Tony and Peter Parker though.
I don't like where this is gone.
Like I said,
He's 15.
And also, like, I just
Didn't stop Robin.
I think for a guy who literally looks at bullets like this, oh, look at that, that's cool, a bullet. If for somebody that fast to be fighting a normal strength guy, I love the Bat God. I understand that Grant Morrison has in some way infected all of us on this panel. I love Batman. Batman is the best, period. But come on. The kid can lift 10 tons. He's 100 times faster than them.
He's a child. He can get
one
to a
straight punch and
child.
Batman is going to die.
But this is one fight that he can stop before it starts.
Take out fear
die.
toxin. Fear toxin. You want to talk about?
Is he going to put the fear toxin in the bats you keep bringing over here?
He's going to put it in a penthouse.
Bats are going to Amazon Prime Video. Drop off the fear toxin.
Take out Tom Holland for a second and add either Toby or Andrew. What do you guys think then? Because our main argument seems to be he's a kid.
Yeah, but it was still
Now
the
he's
same
just a-
character. He was supposed to be a kid too.
Yeah,
It was
he's a
just
kid with like a
miscast
40-year-old
with
man's
adult.
face.
Yeah, they were just like, you're just
Well,
watching a grown ass man chase a bus.
He's not
It's
a
like
kid.
it's
He's a
the
legal.
same.
He's a legal
all I know
adult
is
at that point.
the
Are
Batman.
you asking about them hooking up? I feel better
No.
about it if it's an adult. That if you're asking about them fighting, it's the same answer.
No, I just think there's intense Spider-Man disrespect, and I think the one thing people really forget is how smart he is, and again, right now, I understand nobody watching this watches sports, but right
If you made
now,
it this far in the video, probably not.
right now, the Philadelphia 76ers are a very young team, and they're too stupid to know that they should lose. They're very talented and they're very powerful, and they just don't know that they should lose. So this concept that he's going to come with all this respect, they have 23 hours to introduce him to a guy from another universe. He's going to see what I see. A guy with an incongruous mouth hole that's fit for punching and webbing. And that's another thing we forget about. How does Batman get out of a total 6-foot web bomb?
Scissors.
How? No.
Batarangs.
That's what
remote control
Lasers.
batarangs.
He has lasers.
How many pouches is that? I'm telling you, how many artists have to draw how many pouches for this to be
tenable? He also has explosion
Jesus.
foam. He has explosion foam. Just foam, web's gone.
Also, he's had more time to make friends. A lot of people owe him favors. Nobody owes Spidey a favor at this
Exactly.
point.
But no,
Except the
he's not
whole
calling
Avengers.
anyone.
Okay, I'm
No, but
sorry though. If
beforehand.
you're saying like the rationale is Spider-Man is too stupid to lose this fight,
No, he's too stupid to be scared of Batman. He sees a guy with pointy ears and goes, "Oh, I know a guy like
Fear
that. It's
toxin.
Black Panther. You're a Black Panther ripoff. That's funny." And he throws him across the Hudson River
fear
with one
toxin.
hand. I mean, what are we
he
talking about
injects
here?
fear toxin. He
What
sees
are
a bunch
you
of
talking
women.
about?
He's terrified.
If you can lift 10 tons, why are you worried about Kung Fu Joe?
You really,
I don't
you're
understand.
telling me, you honestly, if the vote is
And he's
yes
so much
or no,
faster.
if it's
He's
yes or
so
no,
much
if
faster.
Spider-Man is winning, yes or no, you're telling me Spider-Man's winning.
He's
again,
100 billion
yes or no,
times
yes or no,
faster
yes or
and
no.
100
He
times
is
stronger.
winning in a
Yes or
straight
no?
up fight, but I don't think there's any way Batman lets it come to that.
No way.
He's a kid.
No.
He's so easy to
What are we
trick.
talking? We're talking
Yeah.
about a 24-hour period to take out all of these heroes, so he can't spend 24
No, he
hours
gets 24
on
hours
all of them.
per hero.
Ah, well, geez Louise. Kraven the Hunter could take him out with 24 hours prep time. So fine, you win.
All right, fine.
Forget it.
Great.
Yes.
good.
Forget. Fine, you win.
Another
Forget.
one bites the dust.
If he had to spend like 3 hours preparing for Spider-Man, he'd get beat up. I'm
All
sorry.
right, well,
Just like Spider-Man, I won this fight by
Let's
being
wrap-
too stupid to lose.
let's wrap it up with the Civil War, the Battle of the Billionaires. Can and how would Batman take down Iron Man?
EMP.
EMP. That's your answer to everything.
It is. I'm like, y'all gotta stop making all your technology out
EMP
of
and guano
basic.
are the key components.
I thought about this a lot,
Oh, do tell Roxy.
like all the time.
Yeah.
I think a lot of us nerds think about this all the time. Like they
Yeah.
are the equivalent of each other in different ways. And I have to say, for so many years, I was like, Batman wins, Batman wins. I think Iron Man might win this fight. And it really does actually pain me to say. But he just has a little more of an edge. Like, he just, it's just a little more on all of the things. And I just think he wins by a hair because it's the same things. It's the same technologies and the same money and it's the same sob stories and it's the same fights with your friends and it's the same, like they have all the same ish. But I think Iron Man pulls this one off.
And Tony Stark's mom's name is Martha.
What?
So, yeah, no. There was like 4 names in 1940s when they were making comics up.
Yeah.
Like
Everyone
6
is
names.
Martha.
And then,
Yeah. There's a lot
Wow.
of Bruces too. So I think he wins. I'm sad about it.
That's so, okay. I do think with time to prepare, Tony could have some kind of backup generator that would switch on in case of an EMP. And yeah, I don't know, like, I think unless Batman gets alcohol involved, Tony does have the edge. But he could get him drunk.
That's, I feel
Yeah,
like
and Batman-
fear toxin
yeah.
is, again, I know I keep going back to the fear toxin, but in this situation, I think Tony's biggest fear is himself and him not being able to be there and to live up to the expectations that he set for himself. So I think if you get into his head, distract him, then you can completely disable his suit. I can see how EMP would probably, I would say shut down the suit and then he would probably have some sort of backup, but you would have at least a few seconds lag. Yeah. Where in that amount of time he would be susceptible to then be injected, and then when you have the mental aspect thrown in, then I can see him taking it.
Think about what Tony is able to do with no money and no resources in anything like an Ironman 1, where it's like he just is able to create, he has all that knowledge. I feel like Batman relies on Alfred and Google a lot. Like,
and Amazon shipping, don't forget.
And Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
And like, it takes Batman a real long time to get out of the darkness when he's like down in a cave. It takes him a real long time. And Tony like is figuring this ish out. He has got a little more urgency to him.
He's a little overconfident. I
Both
feel like
of them.
Yeah, but I think Tony more so than Batman would swagger into this fight like not worried about it.
I do agree with that. I do also think though that with EMP, I think there's some way. If somebody has a way around an EMP, it's Tony Stark, because he knows that that's his main jazz. So, but I think Batman uses the EMP or something like that as a distraction, and then uses the hack stuff that he got 24 hours earlier by hacking, because I guess this is CSI on CBS. You just type real fast, you can get anything you want.
What a hack.
So, you know what I mean? So it's fine. So he hacks and gets a bunch of the codes that work the suit or whatever, and he's able to shut it down or diminish it some kind of way, and then peel him out of it and beat his ass.
You want to be really cool,
That's
though.
the way he beats him, if he beats him at all.
I think it would be a draw. I think it would get to the point that they would both disable each other's suits, to the point that then it's just Tony versus Bruce.
Yeah, and they'd be like,
And then it's like
we're the
fist
1%.
fight, where
Why are we
they're like-
fighting? Let's
yeah,
go
and then
rule
they
the
both
world.
are just like, oh, you want to go get a
Guys.
drink? And he's like, cruel. And then they fight again.
How does Bruce? How does Batman do how does his suit do in the cold?
Well, Vancouver does get pretty chilly.
Wait, Batman or Iron Man?
Batman. Because Iron Man's suit is okay in the cold.
He did make that work in Iron Man 1.
And
He flew
maybe
him
Iron
into
Man
the stratosphere,
takes Batman up so high that Batman's suit no longer works.
Yeah, and this is one
know,
thing I
though.
gotta say. I am really, real tired. As much as I'm tired of the Bat God, I am tired of Batman in inferior, I said it, inferior versions of Iron Man's suit. Every single one. The Dark Knight Returns one where he beat Superman's ass in is inferior to like Iron Man version 3. He has a jacket to the city's power supply to even power the damn thing enough for him to lift like 50, 60 measly tons so that he can bother slap fight with Superman. I mean, yeah. So I really think Hulkbuster suit, especially if Iron Man has 24 hours to prepare for somebody, he's gonna put that Hulkbuster suit on and sleep in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And get ready for Freddy.
I'm so sad.
Yeah, and I think.
So are we split? Yes or no? Is Batman beating Iron Man?
No.
I honestly don't think, under specific circumstances, yes, but no, not overall, no. If they do it 10 times, he loses 8 times.
Wow.
Ugh. I think a draw.
A draw, and I'm
think
no
a draw.
too. Wow. So he got knocked out at the end.
So-
He came
I'm
so close.
so upset.
He came
Now
so
I
close
want
to
to
running the
change
gauntlet.
mine just so I can be like at least one of us is Team
we said Thor
Batman.
would kick it.
Yeah,
I think
he beat
Thor would
most of
kick
the
his
Avengers.
butt more
Yeah,
than
but
Iron
Thor is a
Man.
god, and Iron Man
Yeah.
is Tony Stark. So I'm like, okay, you're 2 billionaires. I don't.
But if he beats the whole Avengers except
Draw.
for Thor, Vision, and Tony Stark, that's a pretty good. He still whooped most of them and got the Hulk some kind of way.
I still think
which
he
I
beats
still
Vision.
I don't know.
I still think he beats Vision. It's Scarlet Witch I don't know about. I'm telling you guys.
Bolos.
Bolos.
Well,
Bolo gang. Bolo gang. Bolo gang.
El Bolos.
Roxy Striar, Ed Greer, Alana Jordan, thank you so much for talking out what's been going on in my head for so many years now. That's maybe the nerdiest video we ever made. It's got to be close.
No,
So thanks for
close.
sticking around for the inaugural episode of Do You Bleed? Who do you want Batman to fight next? The Smurfs? Voltron? Leave a comment, and we'll maybe make another one of these. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.